President Trump's expanded immigration crackdown is now underway in Louisiana. DHS confirmed it launched Operation Catahoula Crunch, named for the Louisiana state dog, this morning. CNN obtained this video of ICE agents earlier today detaining and questioning someone, the legal status of a man at a Home Depot with some 28 miles west of New Orleans in the suburb of Laplace. And New Orleans is also bracing for the arrival of federal agents and eventually the National Guard as well. The city's mayor-elect and first Latina to lead City Hall tells CNN she fears DHS tactics will target people of color.
What they're seeing on TV and reports that they're seeing is not that Border Patrol is going after the most violent criminals. That's not what they're seeing. What they're seeing is what appears to be racial profiling of brown people, and then going after these individuals and treating them like they are these significantly violent offenders.
We're joined now by Oliver Thomas. He's a New Orleans City Council member, a former Democratic mayoral candidate as well, and the chair of the council's Criminal Justice Committee. Thank you so much for being with us, sir. The incoming mayor, of course, concerned about profiling. Is there anything in place now to prevent that in your community?
No, and she should be concerned, and rightfully so. Congratulations to her for at least letting our community know that there is some concern. We shouldn't have raids or have posses that invade our community to do roundups. We want the most violent people, whether they're illegal immigrants or whether they're from our communities, we want them off of our streets. But surely there has to be a better coordinated effort in a way to do this without treating us like we're Dodge City or some part of the Wild West.
We heard in similar situations in Charlotte, for example, that there had been a noticeable decline in student attendance at school. I think in Charlotte, it dropped by like 15% on a given week when these operations were taking place. I imagine that you have concerns not only about schools, but businesses as well.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about early on, when we saw what was happening in other parts of the country, we talked about, and even many folk, conservative folk who are involved in our economics and our business community, why are they raiding job sites? Why are they shutting down projects across America without coordinating with local officials? Surely our government knows who these illegal immigrants are, the ones who are rapists, the domestic violence, the ones who are murderers or robbers who are killing people. You can't tell me that they don't know who they are, that they can't coordinate with state and local officials and go apprehend those people. This isn't the Wild Wild West. We don't need roaming posses. And the mayor-elect is correct. People don't see it as an effort. In many cases, there are large parts of the community who don't see it as an effort to get the most violent people off the street. They see it as an effort to round up one of the most vulnerable populations. And in many cases, especially when you look at New Orleans, where would we be post-Katrina without much of our immigrant population, people coming from around the world to help us rebuild? It just doesn't seem like the best way to do it.
Talk to us more about that, because a lot of folks aren't quite as familiar with the history of New Orleans when it comes to the impact that these migrants have had. There's a sense of appreciation for them.
Yeah, especially here. Our brothers and sisters, I'll never forget there was a group from Jamaica, Ray and their group, many of our Hispanic brothers and sisters who were skilled laborers. While people were displaced, they were here helping us do mold remediation, rebuild critical infrastructure, repair homes and commercial infrastructure. So they were and still are a vital part of our community. I'm sure that there's a better way to do it. There's a better way for Border Patrol and ICE to coordinate with our police department, to coordinate with the state police, to coordinate with local officials, to identify who these so-called violent offenders are and go apprehend them without shutting down work sites, without shutting down, in many cases, with our infrastructure, is still a recovery here.
The FBI and Louisiana State Police are launching this joint effort to deter assaults on federal officers and also to prevent attempts at obstructing them in this process of enforcement. I wonder if you were worried potentially about incidents like that sparking some of what we've seen in Chicago, for example.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. First of all, people attacking federal agents and federal workers and people who have been told to do their job, threatening them with bodily harm, and in many cases with potential violence and loss of life. That's not the right way to do it either. But that's the response you're getting because these are looked at as raids. It is looked at as, in many cases, the most vulnerable Black and brown populations are being assaulted, and they're roving posses. I mean, this isn't Gunsmoke. We don't have Marshal Dillon. We have local law enforcement authorities. To me, it should be easy to coordinate with them to talk about how do we go and apprehend the most violent criminals, the ones who are hurting us, whether they're homegrown or illegal immigrants. There's got to be a better way to do it.
Councilman Oliver Thomas Jr., thank you so much for the time.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has begun a major immigration crackdown in New Orleans. Officials tell CNN they are hoping to make 5,000 arrests. Homeland Security claims to be targeting criminals from other countries, but similar operations in other cities have rounded up many migrants who don't have any history of violent crime. Some New Orleans retailers have posted signs warning federal agents not to come into their stores in search of undocumented migrants. CNN correspondent Ryan Young joins us now live from New Orleans. We've seen this story before, haven't we, Ryan? So how are they preparing?
We have, Max. Yeah, one of the things that stands out to me in your intro, let's just get this out of the way to start this. 5,000 arrests, that's a big number. I mean, we don't see that across 3 or 4 different states, even when they do large arrest sweeps. So the idea that they'd be able to get 5,000 people just from the New Orleans area, that's an astonishing number. And the impact here has been quite chilling. In fact, a large portion of the immigrant community has just disappeared sort of from New Orleans. Everyone's sort of hiding right now. In fact, one immigration lawyer has said, let's treat this like COVID-19 and everyone sort of shelter in place for the next few days. This business behind me has been closed since Monday. This is day number 3. And we'll just walk you close to the door here, Max. I just want to show you this as it plays out. You can see this sign here that says, everyone is welcome here except ICE. You understand the strong emotions in this community. You have this here. ICE CBP agents do not have consent to enter this business. So they've shut down their doors. Look, we've talked to people across this community who are not only scared, they are terrified. One man was running in the park today. He saw some of the agents. He became nervous. He's a legal citizen, but he said he didn't have his paperwork. So he wasn't willing to not call his wife and drive home slowly to see if he could get away from those agents. He did make it, and we were able to talk to him earlier. But listen to the mayor-elect of the city, the first elected mayor who's Hispanic, talk about what's going on right now and the fear around everything that's going and coming soon.
What they're seeing on TV and reports that they're seeing is not that Border Patrol is going after the most violent criminals. That's not what they're seeing. What they're seeing is what appears to be racial profiling of brown people, and then going after these individuals and treating them like they are these significantly violent offenders.
Hey, Max, you and I have covered a lot of stories together, and we honestly understand there's some folks who are going to tweet and be sort of bigger than life, and that's what some folks in this community are concerned about, that they'll just be folks who will just be captured in this, who have nothing to do with criminal activity. And so there are even school children who are missing school over the next few days because obviously they're scared what's going to happen with their parents as well. Crime, by the way, is going down in New Orleans. Homicide's down, violent crime is down. People think those stats should matter as well. But over the next few days, this will be interesting to see how it plays out, because this is the first state where a Republican governor is in charge, and all of law enforcement is helping these agents as they move through the city. We know about 20 miles away from here, they've already made a few arrests. So we'll keep following this as it moves on. Max?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Ryan. Interesting to see how that's happening on the streets.
fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.